Americans have a very nice way of putting it for startups. There are two kinds of money, and these monies are MOM and opium. MOM stands for MOM, that's my own money. And the second is opium, that stands for OPM, other people's money. And at the end of the day, all the funding that you're ever going to require to set up your business is going to be divided between these two. So let's get started. First, getting funded is the way to freedom, happiness, as they say over here, yippee. If you're not going to get funded, nothing happens in life. So getting funded, after of course getting your idea, is one of the most important things that you need to do to set up your business. And the trouble is, a heck of a lot of businesses don't start because that is exactly where they get stuck. Getting funded perhaps is one of the most breakthrough things that you could do to let your business get off the ground. And that is the most troublesome part because businesses are like rockets. When you have a car, to start your car, you require to put it in first gear where it requires the maximum amount of effort. Businesses are also exactly like that. To get one going is what requires the maximum amount of effort. And obviously, effort alone is not going to be enough. You also require a certain amount of money. So where do you find that? I'm sure all of you already know this. Of course, money comes from my savings. Money comes from my assets. But think about a few things. I'm going to give you some perspectives. The first perspective is, have you really thought about all the assets that you can monetize? I have worked with many, many entrepreneurs. In one case, I'm giving you 2-3 case studies just to give you a perspective on how sometimes you don't even know that you've got assets that you can monetize. There's one person I talked to, he said, look, I really don't have money. I said, oh, you don't have a bank balance? No. Do you have savings? He says, yes, I have savings, but that's my provident fund, and I really don't want to touch it because that's the last thing that I would want to have. What will my family do if I lose that too? I said, okay, think about things. Do you have anything? He said, no, I really don't have anything. And then his wife piped up and said, hey, you know something? We have got that ancestral space in that village. Now, he had been holding on to something like about 1.5 acres of land in his home village. And it had come to him as part of a family settlement and it was just lying over there, it was just rotting. He was actually having a problem because he had to supervise the land, he had to pay somebody to till it, and what he was getting out of it was nothing. And you know something? When we went and checked out what was the market value of that land, it was a whopping 21 lakhs that he got for that piece of land. And his business got started. I'll give you another example. There was another entrepreneur, a typical Gujarati family like me. Loads of us have got things like vessels, we have got things like, this family happened to have a whopping 21 kilograms of silver vessels lying in the bank vault. Now this guy was going all around looking for money, and at the end of the day, I just went through all the assets that he had. And I said, what are you doing with these silver vessels? Oh, they are family heirlooms. And I said, when was the last time that you had water in a silver glass? I don't remember. When was the last time you removed those silver plates and you had dinner in those? I don't remember. I said, at the end of the day, if your business gets going, are you going to be able to buy all the silver vessels that you could ever want? And at that time, perhaps throw a party and show off to your friends that I'm going to serve you dinner in silver plates? They said, yeah. What we did was we just took that out of the 21 kilograms of silver, we just took 10 kilograms of it, sold it in the market, and boom, his business was on. You have cars. Most of you have got credit cards. I agree, credit card debt can be very, very expensive. But when you want to start off your business, most of us would have creditworthiness exceeding 10, 12, 15 lakhs at the very least. Now, if you want to really bootstrap yourself, you really want to kick off, the money is there. Just check your assets. You would be having hundreds of things in your own life which can be monetized. You can sell them, you can mortgage them, you can leverage them. It's not necessary that you need to get rid of everything. The land can be mortgaged, homes can be mortgaged, you can shift from owning something to renting something. And last, the only way you will be able to do that is if you're going to have the courage of conviction. Because what I'm suggesting to you, selling your family silver, selling your family land, requires a certain amount of faith in yourself. The problem is not that you don't have the assets. The problem is you don't have the faith in yourself to be able to leverage your assets and say, okay, I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to get started. And that is something, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with. Because that is something you need to find in your own heart. But things are not really that bad. There are alternatives. One of the alternatives is, if you are seriously thinking of a business, in most of the cases, that business is going to be based upon some kind of intellectual property. There's some kind of brains that are involved in setting up your business. We are not talking about setting up baniya shops. We are not talking about setting up grocery stores. We are talking of setting up businesses that are going to make money because there is some amount of intellectual capital. Now, if you have that intellectual capital, why can't that intellectual capital be leveraged part of the time by working for somebody else? As an advertising consultant, I got out of advertising. I started my own advertising agency and marketing consultancy simply by doing that. I earned 1 lakh rupees a month by devoting something like about 5 to 10 hours every week doing consulting. And that fed my business. I didn't have to go looking for funds anywhere else because the funding was right here in my brains. And most of you over here who are looking for funding will find that this is a very, very interesting way of sitting down and getting the money that you require. One of the interesting things about this is, if you are going to apply your intellectual capital that you are going to be applying in your business, you will almost inevitably also develop the networks. You will also be doing the kind of work that your business is going to gain from. You will be working with the same kind of customers. You'll be working with the same kind of vendors. You'll be probably working with the same kind of technology.